I think it's one of God's creatures that we don't know a lot about. And if you look at the detail that's gone into that, the honeybee's not supposed to be able to fly. I'm Doug Crawford. I'm a beekeeper. We've been in beekeeping for 5 generations, and this is our history in motion. All right, we're going to close it up here. My family's been in beekeeping for 5 generations. I grew up with bees. My dad had bees in our backyard as we were growing up. My grandfather had bees. My uncle had bees. My brother's been beekeeping in upstate New York for 52 years. He's my guru if I have a question about bees. I've raised bees here in Corsicana for about 3 years now, but our family's had them all the time growing up. My mom used to go out and help tend with the bees. We used to help Mom and Dad go out there. I can remember bees running across the top of my glasses as we'd go out there and pull the frames out, and the bees would be there with us, but they weren't hateful or mean, and we worked with them and had bees all of our life. So we've had peanut butter and honey all our life.
Beekeeping commercially has been my uncle. After he got out of the service in the 70s, he commercially raises bees. He has tens of thousands of hives and chases the orchards and the orchard harvests up in upstate New York. And that's been amazing. Always been fascinating that he's done that. When it came down to my father and I, 3 years ago, I've always been transient with my real occupation, and so I could never have them. And so I knew I was coming here to Corsicana, and so my dad had retired, and so we just started buying and said, let's do this. And it's given him something to do every day. It's his pets. He goes out and walks the bees every morning. And I've been focusing on the marketing and the commercializing of it. We're not terribly huge commercially yet, but we have more honey than we know what to do with. We're bottling, starting to label now to start selling that. And it's just been great. It's been a bonding moment for my father and I.
Let me go get the frame grabber. The bee's purpose is mostly pollination of the crops. It goes in and gathers the pollen on the hairs on its body, moves from flower to flower. With that, they take the pollen and repollinate the crop. So all of your squash, all of your tomatoes, everything that's grown that has a fruit requires pollination, and the bees play a big part in that. Without the bees, we would lose about 80% of the crops that we have that require pollination.
To think about that there's this creature that's been here on this earth and all of these plants that they can't reproduce without this other bee helping them. Like, that's pretty amazing that the system has evolved hand in hand.
That's solid honey again. Solid honey all the way down. They've capped it, so they've dried it. They've capped this side and dried it. Gary, looks like this whole box can come off.
You know, we're not farmers, we're not ranchers, but it's our little anchor to a little agrarian lifestyle. It slows you down. This is nothing. It's not my work that is 24 hours and solve this problem now. Everything is over time. Everything's not at your pace. It definitely teaches you patience.
Get trapped in there. That's solid honey. Solid honey. Now this frame on this side's not full yet. So they've got this you have to build out. See, they're starting to build that wax out on there. You see the little combs, you see the little octagons, they build that themselves. Okay? And they'll draw out that wax to the depth that they want, like this, and they'll fill it, and then they'll dry it and cap it.